Okay, hi, I'm going to show you my really easy and quick wedding table planning method. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to either Google or go to Google Sheets, which is the cloud-based spreadsheet tool provided by Google. I absolutely love it. I use it for everything rather than Excel. You don't need to buy Excel, you just use Google Sheets. And what we're going to use is a tool that's actually not very well known. So when you get into Google Sheets, there'll be these templates here that you can use. The one you want is the wedding planner, funnily enough. And this is brilliant. It has literally got every single, I don't know if you can see that on the screen right now, but every single part of planning your wedding. So budget, guest list, invitations. And the one we want is the seating chart. So here we go. It's all set up for you. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. So this is what we're going to use, but with a little bit of modification. So I'm going to show you how I've modified it. So it's more or less the same, but all I've done is added a couple of columns to the side here for the numbers of RSVPs and the actual names of your RSVPs. I've also added a couple of rows underneath the tables just to be able to note things like the size of table, the table name, and anything else that you need to note for that table. So the first thing you want to do is grab your RSVPs once you've got them all confirmed and copy them in here, both the first and surname. I haven't done surnames here because I've been a bit lazy, but you want your first and surname here in one cell. The next step is to group your RSVPs into a way that makes sense to you. So here, obviously, the bridal party are all one group. Let's assume the next 8 guys are university friends of the groom, and so on and so forth. So it just makes life so much easier for you when you group people before you even begin, and then move the tables across. So the first step, let's start with the top table. We're going to take down to the maid of honor. Oops. We're going to copy that and we're going to paste it into the top table. And as you can see, it very nicely pre-populates the number of guests here for you, 8, and the total number of guests, 8. So you can always cross-check total number of guests against your RSVPs to make sure you've got everybody in. So the next one we're going to do is the university friends. So that's another 8 guys just throw them into table 1 for now. And then I think we've got another 8 guys. Let's say they're the bride's friends. And they're going to go into table 2 just to get them into the table. And one thing I've forgotten to say, but it's so important, is the minute you've copied someone across, you should always color in the cell so that you know when you have done them all that they're all done and you're not left thinking like I was just there, ooh, what number am I at? Because you know, because it's colored in down to 24 that you've done all those. So what we're left with here is we're left with 3 people who, let's just assume, I've only done a few tables here, just I don't need to do a whole wedding for you to see what I'm trying to do. You're always going to be left with some people who don't quite fit in certain tables, simply just because they're there by themselves. They may know the bride and groom just one-on-one from a sports club or whatever, and they've come along by themselves. So, what you don't want to do is create a kind of table, for want of a better word, for misfits, where everybody realizes very quickly they're all there alone. None of them know the bride and groom, particularly well. They're probably not childhood friends, and that table will end up feeling a bit isolated, I reckon. So I think the nicest thing to do is to sort of spread those people in amongst your other tables with longer term friends and family, maybe, so they really do feel that they're part of the day. And you can do that. So let's just say that Christine and Fiona, let's say they were on the hen do with the bride's friends here, and they all got on very well. So you think you're going to throw them onto that table there, and they'll be looked after. Um, and let's say that Bess, she plays badminton, and you know that a few people on the groom's university friends table have played badminton. So you think that'll work. So you can throw her there, color her in, and we're done. So what you keep doing, obviously, all the way down your RSVPs, is just keep putting them onto tables. It doesn't matter which table you put them on for now, um, because once you're finished, you can figure out where you want to put people. Um, and what's key to really keep in mind here is that I'm just going to bring up, if you ask your venue to let you have an outline or a layout of the venue and the reception venue and where the tables are and what the table numbers are, you'll soon begin to realize that actually table 2 you'd think would be nearer the top table, but it may not necessarily be. So you can't always rely that, oh, I'll put all my family on table 1 and 2 and they'll be near me, because they may not be. So you do need to bear this in mind when you're doing your table plan. So here you'll kind of see table 2 actually isn't a table that you'd want for close family. Oops, wrong one. Isn't a table you'd want for close family. It's probably more of a friends table. So you can move these tables around once you've done them to fit where you think people should be in relation to the top table. The other thing to bear in mind, and this really does depend on the venue, so again, this is something you do need to ask before you even begin this. Ask your venue, in the venue, how many tables are of a certain size. So, are these all the same size table? Can they all seat 8 people? Can they seat 12 people? A general rule of thumb for round tables is that a 5-foot table will seat probably 6 to 8, and a 6-foot table might seat, up to 12 people. It depends on how comfortable you want people to be, I guess. But you kind of want to make sure that you know how many tables of each size can be in your venue before you start, because otherwise you could end up actually creating a table plan that doesn't actually work in your venue. So that's something to check, definitely. So let's say here we know that this is going to have to be a 5-foot table. That will have to be a 6-foot. Oh no, that could be a 5-foot table as well, I think. 5 foot. And that would definitely have to be a 6-foot table. This is just a row here if you want to rename your tables, because I think it's kind of cute sometimes to name all your tables in a way that is meaningful for you as a couple. I think half the time people do it so that their guests, don't judge their importance in the wedding by where they're sitting. So if I was on a wedding and I was at table 17 down here, I'd be thinking, whoa, they hate me. I'm on table 17. Why am I not on table 2? So to avoid those kind of really probably not very valid judgments by guests, it's easier just to throw some names down there. So you can put that there. It's important for your venue to know which name equals which table number, because their waiting staff will know the tables by number. And finally, down here, I've got another row for any kind of notes about decor or anything else that need to be included here. So, for example, we could say that table 1 here, maybe Bess has a baby that she'll have with her, so she's going to need a high chair um, at that table. So you can note that there. That way you can always keep track, and the venue can always keep track of everything that they need. So that's it really. I mean, I haven't done the whole plan for you, but you can see how easy it is to move people across, color it in. Once you've got them on the tables, figure out where you want them in relation to the top table and just move the table blocks around on that basis. And then you're ready to do the seating within each table. I'm actually going to take that offline, and in the blog post I'll show you how I do that, because I think that works a lot better on paper. So if you want to visit the blog at daydreamingbride.com, the link is below under this video on YouTube. You can download the template that I use, and you can download a quick cheat sheet to help you work on this template. So I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for listening. Bye bye.